Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. First things first, I'm actually adding a lot more benefits into my Patreon and have kind of revamped the whole thing. So if that's something that you are interested in joining, definitely check out the details below. And also, I have opened up an IG account just for my videos, and you will see all the updates as well as extra like MBTI fun stuff. It's at personality story, and I hope that you can follow me there and see all the snippets and updates about my videos. So if you see me being a little low energy today, I hope that you can understand because it is related to what I'm going to be talking about, which is my experiences as an INFJ under the whole lockdown situation, self quarantine, stay home, whatever you call it. I do feel like I actually have not the best experience, and I know that it can be a bit contradictory to some people's experiences as introverts because I do know that some of my other introvert friends are actually doing well and they find it to be okay, whereas there are also some other introvert friends like me who do not really enjoy this whole thing. And obviously everyone's different, so today I'm going to be presenting my own experiences as an INFJ with an Enneagram 5 wing 4, and kind of related to why I'm not really having a great time and just some of the challenges that I have gone through and am still going through, and to let you recognize that introversion itself is not really a set thing. Like, it's not that all introverts have to enjoy quarantine or all introverts have to enjoy staying home 24/7, even though I recognize that in general introverts do have an easier time than extroverts when it comes to lessening social interactions and so on. But actually introversion is still a spectrum, so it really depends on you and your own like personality, how you yourself use your functions. So I'm going to explain how my experiences have been and also how it relates to my own personality development and so on. Introversion means that you gain energy by being alone, and you actually lose energy by being with other people. So typically your energy would increase when you are with fewer groups of people or like with yourself. It's like called recharging. And if you are with a bigger group of people, especially if the numbers start increasing, you would feel like your energy is slowly being depleted. And that is true for me because I prefer small gatherings of people, like more intimate friendships than having a huge group of friends. And that is very applicable to me. However, I don't think introversion means that you necessarily have to enjoy staying at home 24/7, because as an INFJ and as someone with also a social variant, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the instinctual variance, which I have made a video about, so you can watch that video if you're not sure. Basically, it's like we all have three instincts: self-preservation, social, and sexual. And the social part means you value social bonding. The sexual one means that you value intimacy, like can be between friends or lovers. And the self-preservation part means you just care about like financial stability, your own comfort, and so on. So it depends on your own variation, what do you value the most. And for me, I am of the social variant, so I really, really value social connections. Even though I don't value very huge friend gatherings, I still care about having small group of friends that can meet up like once per week at least. And that can be pretty tough on me as someone who is forced to be under lockdown. And also as an INFJ, I do have extroverted feeling, which is something that I do need to kind of feel like I am of value to other people, and also have this like mutual communication, like mutual concern and support. And I think that for me it's better to be experiencing this kind of support in person. Like, I don't really like Zoom meetings. I mean, it is okay. It is okay to have Zoom meetings, but I still prefer meeting my friends one on one, and especially for my close friends. I don't really like not being able to meet them, and that can actually be pretty annoying for someone with social variant and also extroverted feeling. Furthermore, I really like going to cafes to work, and I don't know if this is an INFJ thing or maybe this is just my own thing. It might be just an individual thing, that I actually find myself more productive when I am outside of my house. And that can be pretty difficult for me because I kind of have a set spot where I know where I have to go in order to get my work done. And for me, that is cafes. Basically, I pick like really nice, bookstore cafes with a great atmosphere and great food, great drinks. It's just like the whole place has this really artistic vibes, which is again, it is an INFJ thing as well as an Enneagram 4 thing, where I do care about like having a good atmosphere around me. And to me, home is not really the best atmosphere for me. I mean, it is okay, like it's not terrible, but it's definitely not ideal, especially since I am so used to, having my own favorite spot in town or in the city, where I get my work done and also get to meet friends or go for like small gatherings. And that can be quite disappointing for me to get that taken out of my life. I don't know if this is rare for INFJs or maybe this is just, you know, could be more common than people talk about, is that we INFJs, we do have inferior extroverted sensing. Even though it is an inferior function, it is still existent. So at some point in our lives, we would kind of have this spurts of adventure. So a lot of INFJs I know, even though we are private individuals, we still have a sense of adventure. Like we still love traveling, we still want to go out, we still have this part of ourselves that want to explore things that we like. So for example, a lot of INFJs I know like to go to a lot of different parts of the world to kind of take a look at, the different cultures, and to really understand about, other cultures and people. And also a lot of INFJs like to explore just art museums and maybe speakeasies, like those bars hidden somewhere, that has a special kind of interior design. Like I like visiting places that give me a sense of being almost like otherworldly, like different from the mundane life kind of thing. And to me, that's actually a huge part of who I am. Like I don't really like staying home 24/7. I like to go out and explore. And I think that's kind of where my extroverted sensing comes in. Even though it is my last function, I actually developed it in my college years. So yes, back when I was like maybe 14, 15, or like throughout high school, actually, I was less familiar with like places that I can have fun in and go to. But afterwards, my extroverted sensing kicked in and I began to value experiences a lot more. And so right now, especially, I still value experiences and I still want to, go out and see things and try things that I have not tried before. I mean, not to the degree that ESTPs do, because they are obviously a lot more reckless and fearless when it comes to like daring activities. But for me, it's more about novelty and just going for things that I enjoy. And this whole lockdown thing is making that very, very tough for me, because I really like going to art galleries, for example, and it's not the same thing if you were to ask me to look at the art on the internet. I just don't have the same experience, and I feel like it is a sensory experience as well as an intuitive experience. And I like kind of a combination of that, but unfortunately, I'm just not able to get that anymore, and I have no idea how long this is going to last. That's another challenge that I face. And for those of you who are familiar with Enneagram, I'm not sure if you know, Enneagram 4 is my second most strong type. And Enneagram 4 is known as the individualist or the romantic. And we typically like to listen to emotional music or like poetic music, whatever you call it. And we like to be in atmospheres that make us feel a certain way, like have a kind of, emotional atmosphere, artistic atmosphere. And for me, my home doesn't really give me that feeling. I mean, maybe it differs for everyone, right? Some people, they can really make their home like really beautiful and like giving them that kind of atmosphere that they enjoy being creative and inspired. But for me, I don't really have that. My home is pretty simple, and I have not really done like exclusive interior design to make it a creative space for myself. Also, like the financial situation is not really in for me right now to do that. So yeah, it can actually be a little stifling for me to be at one place, whereas in the past I like to kind of be inspired by going to different places, sometimes on my own, sometimes with like a few close friends, to like kind of explore it out and see which ones are the ones that I work best in, or the ones that I can get inspired with. Like I get inspired by going out and doing things and meeting people, and sometimes not necessarily meeting people, but just going to places and looking at things. Maybe sometimes, visiting very interesting, calm like places. But now I can't really do that, so I have to find other ways around it. And there's this problem of procrastination and guilt, because the amount of time that we have been given, it makes me feel like it is good to have something done. I know a lot of people have been saying like, oh, it's okay if you don't get anything done. It's okay if you just relax and chill and like let life take its course. And like, it is a traumatizing experience for a lot of people. So you should be able to give yourself the freedom to experience it whichever way you want. But for me, I still want to be able to get something done out of this, because I feel like this is a rare chance that we have so much time on our hands. And I do want to accomplish certain things. This is just my own personal dreams. But I feel like the fact that I am given so much time and yet I'm not accomplishing much, that kind of gave me even more guilt and shame, which I know it's not, it's like the whole perfectionism thing related to the INFJ personality, which I have also made a video on before, but it kind of crept in during this lockdown because I felt bad for not making full use of the time to, embark on my creative projects. Enneagram 4 people love creative projects and like writing and so on. I mean, it could be other things, but for me, it's writing, and I know that this is the time where I can get my writing done. Like, objectively, I know this is the best time, but at the same time, it's like I feel bad because I realize that I am not using my time very productively when it comes to writing. Like, I keep having this, self-doubts that's really affecting my completion of my writing, which should have been done a long time ago. I mean, I just have this like long periods of not touching my work due to avoidance, and the fact that I know I have so much time kind of make it worse, if that makes sense. Also, another challenge for me is probably related to kind of being an Enneagram 5. It's not really a challenge, it's more of like my experience. As an Enneagram 5, I am very questioning, especially when it comes to, government behavior and so on. And to me, it is pretty disappointing to see like governments deflecting their responsibility. I have also made a video on that about like, truths that the coronavirus has revealed about society. It's like about my disappointment with governments who are constantly deflecting responsibility to other governments or other people, and I realize that it is a very consistent behavior because generally governments do not want to take any responsibility. They don't want people to blame them for poor measures or being ill prepared. So they tend to like blame on other people, and that makes me very sad because obviously me as an Asian person, I am aware of how some people are perceiving us during this crisis, and that just kind of added to the whole like struggle, I guess, like the whole stress that I have already been feeling. Another common issue that I'm facing is about being left alone to your thoughts. So one thing that I think is kind of hard to talk about for many introverts, also not a lot of people talk about it, is that I feel like introverts, yes, we do like to have our own space and so on, but sometimes being left alone with our own thoughts for a very long time is not really a good idea, because sometimes we can really live in our own heads, and that can pull us out of reality, and it can almost like not allow us to be able to think out of the mess that we have created for ourselves. So I honestly think that it is good to sometimes have distractions, and I think that it is good to have a balance between living in your own head and having like external communication and like things that you can do to kind of balance that mental space out. Some of the things that I have been thinking of doing, it's probably like in-house yoga, since I can't do yoga. Definitely it doesn't substitute the group experience. I still prefer doing it in a small group, because I kind of need people to structure me a little bit. Like, it's hard to be disciplined on my own. I feel like I need a little bit of an external push. I'm not sure if it's an INFJ thing or just myself. I feel like I need some kind of motivation from the outside to really be able to structure my own work, and that can be pretty challenging when you yourself have to discipline yourself. So that's something that I have been also working on when it comes to like my writing schedule, my fitness schedule, and like probably lessening time watching like movies and so on. I do want to have a little bit of a balance when it comes to what I do. So honestly, this video is not really about like me having it figured out, because I obviously am not figured out. I just want to have a mini rant about this situation and let you know like some of the challenges that I can face even as an introvert. Maybe we have it better and compared to extroverts, but personally I still feel that it is pretty challenging for myself. I mean, if it's not challenging for you as an introvert, then even better for you, right? So let me know some of the tips that you have when it comes to thriving in these times, and how do you help yourself when it comes to productivity? How do you substitute like social interactions? Is it just Zoom? Do you just rely on Google Hangouts, or what ways do you have to cope with all the issues that I have talked about? So I would love to hear what you have to say, and remember to like and subscribe if you have enjoyed the video. I will see you soon. Bye.